come spend the day with me in New York City.
Recently, I was back in New York City for the Spring Awakening open call, which I actually ended up having the time of my life, and I've never had an audition go that well, actually. As a frequenter of New York City, of course I have my own favorite places to go, and we went to those. But first, let me tell you about the new place that I went, as I wanted to try something new today. We went to the Complete Strategist, which is a TTRPG shop in New York City. It is located right here, and it was really cool. It has a ton of different gaming system and modules, as well as a small comic book section. Basically everything you could wish for, including D&D, which is kind of what I came here for, because if you haven't guessed, that's kind of my whole thing here. Of course, I wouldn't be here without my mom. She was such a huge help during this whole trip, and she'd probably kill me if I didn't give her at least some credit for some of this. So thanks to her incredible itinerary and planning skills, I was able to find this place and still have plenty of time to visit a couple other destinations that I will show you later. They had a pretty sizable selection of official Dungeons & Dragons books, including the new Ravenloft stuff.
I learned recently that Wizards of the Coast finally did end up unionizing, which is great, but I still didn't have any room in my bag for any of these books. They're quite large, but also I'm still slightly wary, seeing as the company itself did try to prevent the unionization of their workers, but I'm extremely supportive of the fact that they were able to unionize, and hopefully that means there's, no real pushback or further poor behavior from Wizards of the Coast.
I own a lot of their books from 2014 and the 2024 versions of the game, but most of them were gifts or purchased secondhand or before I knew about the union busting, and I just want to make that clear as my books do appear in many of my videos. Just want to get that out of the way, as I realized I never actually stated my opinions on Wizards of the Coast, so yeah. As well as they had these really great animated spell cards / deck cards by Hit Point Press, which were great. Tons of D&D minis, books, other card games that were not necessarily TTRPGs, but more fun little card games. Someone was in there looking for a bachelorette party game and found something that would be good for that. All sorts of stuff. So yeah, there's something for everyone, and like I said, there's a small comic section in the back. They don't sell volumes, they just sell single issues, which are the floppy ones, the single ones, and then the volume is the collected edition. Yeah, I had a really good time, and the guy at the front desk was very talkative and very nice to me. He helped me find something online for a good price that they didn't have in stock, and they didn't know if they would get it in stock, so he helped me find an affordable price point for it online as well, which I really appreciated since I've been looking for it for a while. Unfortunately, it is not a wheelchair accessible location. There is no way to get past the stairs. There's only a couple stairs. So if you have mobility aids like crutches or a cane, it is potentially doable for that. However, a wheelchair is not able to get past the stairs. Obviously, there is no ramp. It's listed as not wheelchair accessible. It's just a little unfortunate because I think gaming should be accessible to everyone, but there are a lot of rules when it comes to renovating buildings like that. It's also relatively packed and small space, so I don't know how navigable it would be to people with certain mobility aids anyways. Obviously, I'm not a mobility aid user, so I'd leave that up to the judgment of you or whoever you're with, but I would also love to do a little bit on my next trip, just a vlog reviewing some more accessible nerd spots or spaces. That's important to me. The Complete Strategist has actually been around for a while, about 45 years I think, which makes it one of the older TTRPG shops, if not the oldest side of TTRPG shops. On top of that, speaking of old, they also have a lot of really old D&D and TTRPG stuff, and a lot of it is on display or available for purchase, but a lot of it they've actually set aside because I was talking to the guy at the desk, and he was like, yeah, well, we really want to do some kind of museum exhibit-y thing, so a lot of the stuff that's labeled as not for sale is strictly so they can set it aside for an official display type of thing. However, you are still able to go through all of those materials and go flip through the books and the pictures and all the cool stuff, so you can still interact with it, you just can't buy it. Which I thought was really great because they have stuff that's like really old, like 1E and 2E stuff, which is pretty old, and for a lot of things, at least that what I've seen, it's kind of pricey to get new or used stuff. Just talking to my dad who played 1E as a kid. Anyways, they also have a huge selection of dice. A lot of the ones they buy from are Emberglow dice, which was founded by a woman, and I've heard really good things about their like dice products. And I believe they're the company that partnered with MinMax for the MinMax dice set. I love MinMax. So yeah, I decided to pick myself up some new dice sets.
These are like hex core ones, like Arcane.
Yeah,
like
those
you
are
didn't watch
gorgeous.
that show. Emberglow, I think. Emberglow were the ones that had the MinMax dice, Mom. I need to make sure that this can be formatted and edited properly. And then these are ones from Emberglow, which I know a lot of people know what those are, but I've heard really good things, and I'm excited to get my first set.
Stopped to up the caffeine intake, so I got myself like a fruity little tea. But after that, we were going to my favorite place in the city, which is around Union Square. And we stopped at the Union Square station, and on the weekends in the summer, I don't know if it's every weekend, but they do like a little farmer's market / craft fair. There's a lot of like local bakeries, local small artists, as well as like organic farms from Long Island or in-state New York, upstate New York areas. It's really charming, and there's a lot of cool things to look at. I didn't get anything because I was saving the last little bit of my room in my bag for what I have planned next. But yeah, if you're ever looking for something fun, cute to do over the weekend, I recommend that. And then it is on to Forbidden Planet, which is my favorite comic book store. All the people there have always been so nice, and every single time I'm there, I find at least one of the things I'm looking for, which is pretty uncommon when it comes to my lucky streak. I ended up getting one of the Batman Superman World's Finest comics, which I absolutely adore Mark Waid's writing, as well as Justice League Unlimited Volume 2, which I believe is also Mark Waid. And if it's not, it still has Dan Mora as the artist, and I am on the Dan Mora is one of the best comic artists ever train. They also had 2 of the Funko Pops for Pride Month that I've been looking for ever since they were announced, because I think that DC has really upped their Pride Month Funko Pop game.
These were the ones they released for DC Pride this year, and I'm so excited that they, 1, made sure it was John, and 2, they included Dreamer. She's a new superhero, but she's a trans woman, and I read part of her comic. I haven't to finish it because I didn't own it. I was at the library. She's such a cool character. She's fascinating, and I really liked it.
Like I said, it included Dreamer, whose comic book I'm still on the hunt for. They probably had it there, but I was dead set on my Batman Superman comic, because that's the favorite series I'm reading right now, of course. But they also had Jonathan Kent, and I really like that they made sure his actual name was on it. They did this last year with Tim Drake instead of it being just Robin, which used to be just Robin. And then they specified it to include the actual name of the queer character, which is great because a lot of these characters have different people who take on the mantle. So there's a billion Robins, right? And then John Kent is Superboy, but you also have Con-El. I'm rambling, but I really like that that's just cool that they've individualized it a little bit more. And instead of it being solid rainbow, they found ways to incorporate the pride flags. Sometimes it's a little on the nose, but sometimes it's pretty cute. I have the Harley Quinn one, and she's adorable.
Last time we were here, they had a collector Monster High doll, and I didn't get it.
Sometimes they do have really good collector's items, like those Skeletor dolls, so you always have to be careful to watch out for them because you don't know what you're gonna find there. Their entire collection of Funko Pops is huge, and included things like the Animaniacs, and also just things from basically every new show, movie, anime coming out. There is so much to choose from. It's a little overwhelming, and unfortunately I couldn't bring any back. There are tons of action figures, dolls, they have cute little pins and magnets. Yeah, it's a great place. It's always a great atmosphere. They have a huge selection of like tabletop role-playing games, including Dungeons & Dragons and the new Ravenloft stuff that I talked about earlier from Complete Strategist, but they also have Settlers of Catan, which is a classic, as well as dozens of other board games either related to the comic book world or popular movies or fantasy, sci-fi, horror type of settings. So there's kind of a little bit of something there for everyone. I don't know a lot of these games or modules. I primarily stick to D&D, but I have played Settlers of Catan before. But yeah, there's probably something there for at least everyone to try, and I found some things that I too am curious to look into. But they have a huge selection of things, including these single issue comics, which I'm not really into because they can get damaged so easy, but I have a couple. They always update with new stuff, huge anime selection. They even have a lot of kid-friendly or comic books and picture books that are aimed at kids to help them ease into the comic book nerdy space, which I think that's great.
Here you are.
The people there working the desk have always been very, very nice, and I was here a lot when I spent a month here studying at NYU. So yeah, if you're ever in New York, I absolutely recommend this place as a go if you're looking for comics. Obviously, there are other comic book stores in the city, but this one is probably my favorite. Then it was time for a matinee of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I've never seen the actual movie before. Well, I have seen the movie before. I've never been to a midnight showing or seen a production, and like a good theater goer, I tried not to use my phone to record too much, so I don't actually have a lot from it, but it was an excellent show, and according to my mom, I am officially a good gay person now. And obviously, there's an active discussion about the show's treatment of the iconic callouts, but since I didn't really know them, I wasn't personally bothered. But the highlight for me was Stephanie Hsu, who is absolutely my favorite stage actor in middle school and remains one of my top favorite performers today. She was absolutely hilarious and managed to balance quirky vocal patterns while still being able to sound both vocally healthy and just incredible. Most of you have probably seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I recommend Joyride, which was another movie she's in, if you're over the age of 18 and looking for a good movie to watch with the girls.
Everyone remember their names?
Sassy.
Cutie.
Lisa.
Lisa, 2.
I don't believe these girls are singers.
Girls, show them.
What are we supposed to show?
On our way back to the subway, we actually passed Broadway Cares / Equity Fights AIDS Broadway Barks, which is an event they put on every summer to promote adoption. We even got some like little Wicked themed bow ties to give to our own dogs, and they sell a lot of other stuff, just a lot of little cute pet accessories, keychains. They even have their own cute little playbill. Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS is a charity organization that helps people who are affected by HIV/AIDS and other life-threatening illnesses. But on top of that, they also help provide support to artists, helping with healthcare, medication, meals, and stuff all across the US and Puerto Rico, which is really important as obviously the cost of living is only going up. And I will have them linked down below if you want to check it out, because it is a very, very good way to support both the arts community and then just like the general population. I've made donations in the past, and I definitely plan to again. We finished our day by going back to the train station so we could get to the airport, which had luckily a Tim Hortons. I live in Ohio, but I go to school in Buffalo, and I really missed their refreshers. There are Tim Hortons in Ohio, but it's like an hour away from me by car, so I have no desire to drive out there. The gas is gonna cost more than the coffee.
I wanted to do a little mini haul from all of the cool things that I got while I was in New York, obviously. I got this Creature of the Night shirt from Little Shop? The Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's really embarrassing of me as both a theater kid and a gay person, but I'm leaving that in. And then the dice sets I got from Emberglow from that store. I got the Definitely Not Totoro set, and they're absolutely adorable. Let's see. You can see him in there. They all have the embeds that look like this. They're so cute, and they come in a cute little tube. It's got a wax seal on it. My other ones did, and then there was a small little incident on the subway, and now my other glass tube is no more. But I did get this other set of dice from my mom. They're very, very, very pretty. They have like little mountainscapes in them. And they're very, very detailed. There's like a little river, I think you can see it. Yeah, they are absolutely marvelous. This is another one of those sets that is extremely, extremely pointy if you're not careful. So yeah, but those are my two
sets that I got. So on top of that, I got these, which are animated spell cards. I have these, which are level 9 animated spell cards. They come with 15 of the spells and then 15 custom cards if you have homebrew spells, which I don't at this point, but I'm sure that I will eventually. They make several different packets for each level of spells, so I'm gonna try and get some of the lower level ones as well, probably level 1 and 2, since my party's only at level 1 and 2. But yeah, they are so cool. They are animated. They've got like those holographic fronts. It's kind of hard to tell just with all of the light reflection from my phone. But they're very, very cool. And then on top of that one, I also got, I'm taking the packaging off of it actually, an animated deck of many things. So I hope my players are gonna have a fun time with that. I have no idea where to put this in my game or if I'll even do it anytime soon. But if any of my players are watching this, you know what's up. We have this now. I don't know how many of my friends that I told I got one of these, but yeah, let's see. This is the balance card. They are just so absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then these are what the backs of them look like. They're very, very, very pretty. And then it comes with like a book on each card, so because they don't have them printed on the back. So yeah, and then it's got this card as well. The craftsmanship on these are just they're so cool. And so the last thing that I got another dice set. I got these, which are Adventurer's Loot Drop. This is one acrylic set and one D20, and they are from Emberglow Gaming. I've heard good things, so I'm gonna open this. I don't know what's in here. Okay. Alright, so yeah, I got one of their, it is a full plain acrylic set, and these are very, very nice. They are red and black and gold. It's very, very, very dragon-like, I think. Not that it will focus, but they're very, very gorgeous. And then it came with one metal D20 as well. Yeah. Looks like this. It's quite heavy. It's very cool, and it looks really round, but it does roll properly on its faces. So yeah, that is basically my main haul. I also ended up getting 2 comic books at Forbidden Planet, which is like my favorite comic book store on the face of the earth. I got Batman, Superman, World's Finest, 60,000 Leagues, and I got the second volume of Justice League Unlimited. So yeah, that's all. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these places. I'm sure I'll do another one finding some like other cool D&D or like nerdy places around New York City or wherever I'm visiting next. But yeah, that's it, and I hope you're having a good day. If you liked this kind of content or just like the sound of my voice to put on in the background, maybe hit that subscribe button, that like button, let the algorithm know that I am worth a click or two, I guess. But yeah, I'll see you next time.